Hello. So clearly this isn't like a formal video or anything, just a vlog because, sorry, I've got you. Whoa. Sorry about that. Okay, so like back to the topic from before, kind of feeling like a little bit down right now, and so I just wanted to talk and stuff. And again, while I'm here, I'll just like fill you in on stuff. So as you know, like I work at my gymnastics gym, and over the summers I do summer camps. And generally camps that I do are a half day, but sometimes they need help with like full days or whatever and stuff, and so I've just been like, basically all my time has been occupied, and like even though I generally like to think of my summers as time I can devote to this, sometimes you're just like needed in other places and I can't always be here even though I really want to. And it's hard because once I get into that mindset of just going to work on a normal schedule every day, I start to get into that and like just feel like, oh well, it's okay, I don't really need to do this anyway, you know, I have my other job, which is really like out of character for me, so it feels weird and it's just like not how I am. So also, sorry, my throat is hurting, and I think it's from so much coaching, which is not good. I haven't been able to sing, I haven't been able to film, I've just worked, and even though I love my job, it's hard when I can't do any of the other things that I love to do, you know? And it's just like, that's kind of like, it's just like how I feel a bit. Because as much as I love it, it's a thing that I don't wish I was working less. I wish there were more hours in the day, you know? So that's a thing. Sometimes I just like, I know exactly what I'm gonna say, and then I get on here and it's just like nothing, you know? So I guess that like kind of brings me into the next point, which is like I've had a little bit of like YouTuber block. So that's something that I have with like anything I do that's creative, is like, even with like art, like painting and drawing and stuff like that, I know that I want to make stuff, but I have no idea what it is that I want to make. Like I have it with painting, I don't know what I want to paint, I just know that I want to paint, and when I just sit down and start randomly painting stuff, it makes me frustrated because I don't have any like sort of stimulation or inspiration, you know? Like I miss when I had art classes and we had something like, okay, like here's a magazine, you're gonna find a picture in that magazine, and then you have to create a piece inspired by it using only this medium. Like I really like prompts and like constraints and challenges in art. That's like where my stuff comes from, you know, is like that kind of stuff. And it's like I almost feel that way with, or I do to a certain extent just like feel that way with this, is that I've known for so long that I want to make videos, but for some reason I just can't yet find the thing that I'm supposed to be making. And that's kind of what's frustrating me and what I feel like is holding me back, because most of the people that I talk to who make videos say that their channel only started to take off once they started doing what they truly loved on the channel. And that's where I kind of find difficulties, because I don't know, like I didn't come on here with a specific vision for the kinds of things I wanted to create. Like I knew that I wanted to do advice videos, and I know that that hasn't happened, but that's because like, hold on, I have to yawn. I yawn a lot when I have a sore throat, and just like yawning is actually good for your throat, it relaxes the muscles. So like that's just like part of being a singer too, and like a music major. I put too much stress like on myself because I've always been someone who does 10,000 things at once. I've always done a lot of sports and a lot of creative activities. From the time that I was little, I did everything. And oh my goodness, because like all I had was myself, you know? It was just me. Well, I had parents, of course, but like I didn't have siblings or anything. So everything that I did was something that like imaginary that I made up, you know? So like I had my art, I wrote like stories and books. I still sang and I wrote my own like songs. I had my journals that I always wrote in. I felt like I could be like a professional daydreamer, honestly. Like the things that I created in my head, I have like the best memories of just like literally doing nothing, just sitting and like thinking of scenarios. I don't know how I did it, you know? Like it's crazy like how creative we are when we're young and how the pressures of life can strip away like that creativity. And we talk about this in school too, because I'm going to school to be a music teacher. And so you can imagine this topic comes up all the time. We talk about how like K through 12 education really strips away creativity, and everybody's different, but just like the general framework of it. And so like that's our job as like music and art teachers, to help kind of just like keep that there, you know? And it's like, it's important, you know? It really, really is, because like I just remember that person when I could just make anything, and like, oh, and it was so like freeing. I didn't put any pressures on myself because I was young, so there were no expectations, you know? So it's interesting. Hello. People honk all the time. You know, so it's like a lot of that is the stress that I put on myself, of course, because so one thing in regarding to like art, like studio art, like painting and stuff like that, is that in middle school and some of elementary school, I thought that I had wanted to be an art teacher instead of music. And art was really my thing. I had always loved music. I was in chorus and everything like that. But art, I felt like art was my thing because I drew, I painted, I did all that stuff, you know? And then in middle school, my middle school art teacher and I were really close, and like she invited me into this like art club that she had at the school, and that was, I have like the best middle school memories are in that group, you know? And she was very creative and we were just close. She like understood me and like she was proud of me and everything like that, and that was really good. And so I thought that art was gonna be like the thing, you know? But I did still do chorus. And then in 8th grade, like I was in that art club, and that was the best year for the art club that I was in. And at the end of the year when I was graduating 8th grade, I won the art award from her, or 2 people were selected for the art award. I was one of the 2. And that's actually, I can't pick it up right now because you're balancing it on it, but she got me these Statler watercolor crayons and I love them, and they're what you are currently being balanced on. Hold on, sorry. Also, sorry if the lighting changed a little bit. It's just because it's starting to get dark out, so I turned a couple lamps on. But back to what I was saying, I was one of 2 people to receive that award, and then my art teacher also wanted me to contact the high school, and she like recommended me to skip to a advanced art class at my high school instead of start in beginner art, because she said I had advanced skill. And so like I just really felt good with that. because for my age I was advanced, you know? And then when we went to make schedules, we saw that art and music, like art and chorus, ran at the same time, so I couldn't do both. And like I was like, well, I know I want to do chorus, and so I picked it. Like I knew that I wanted to do that, you know? And so like I remember this, like I was thinking like people wanted to know why I wasn't doing art anymore, and I just told them like I kind of had to choose between music and art, and I chose music, which is weird because no one was expecting that. I wasn't really expecting that, yet it seemed like such a simple choice when it came about. And so for all those years in high school and then up until now, I hadn't been practicing my skills. So I'm picking up a little bit below where I left off, which is at an 8th grade. I'm probably now average 8th grade art student, no longer advanced 8th grade art student, but that's kind of how I feel because I hadn't been practicing, so I'm no longer like good for my age, you know what I mean? But I want to be, but obviously I need to practice. But how can I practice if I don't know what to do? And every time I try, it just makes me angry, you know? And it's just like, I don't want to be frustrated doing the things that I love, you know? So it's like, I almost feel like all those things that I love to do, even though I was able to spread myself so thin before, like I really can't anymore, but I want to. And I want to keep trying to, but I don't know how, because the expectation when you're a music major is that music is the only thing you do. And that might not be told to you, but when you see your schedule, you realize, oh my gosh, these people, I use that loosely because I respect the people in my department, but I just say like, these professors and stuff, they really expect me not to have any other hobbies, at least for the time being. And that's hard because when you're expected to love that one thing more than everything else, it's kind of just like, I felt guilty because I was like, for most of the other people in the room around me, music is their only thing. They don't really have many other hobbies, or they don't have any other passions necessarily. But like, when I have so many other things to do, I'm like, oh my gosh, when am I gonna be found out that music isn't the only thing that I do? Like, yeah, singing is the hobby that I'm the best at, and the one that I have the most drive for, and the one that I don't really get frustrated with because I just love it that much. I wish all my other hobbies were like that, but at the same time I almost don't, because it's nice to have that one thing that you know you're good at. But when you also do a bunch of other things, you're like, where are my other things? Like, I want to do these too, you know? Because I'm always that person that jumped from hobby to hobby. Like I said before, I was always writing something, I was always drawing something, you know? Stuff like that. But I had no pressure because I was a kid. And now I feel like I have to be amazing at everything that I do. And I feel like, I don't know, I think that's really it. And it's like, with sports too, like, oh my goodness, like, oh, I'm so sorry. A lot of it is with sports too, because I feel like such a void not going to sports practices every week. Or it's that, but also just the fact of not having activities anymore. Like, in elementary school, I had gymnastics after school, and then in 4th and 5th grade, or actually in 3rd grade, we had recorder, and that was my instrument that I practiced outside of school. And then in 4th and 5th grade I had chorus. Then in middle school I had the art club and chorus. And then in high school and of course I had gymnastics and horseback riding also in middle school. Then in high school I had gymnastics, I had horseback riding, I had chorus, and then by the time of my senior year I was in 4 choirs at the same time. I had my church youth group. I think that's it. But my point is I always had some sort of extracurricular to look forward to, and it's like now that I'm in college, there's no more of that. I don't have any of that. It's just go to class, go to work, go to bed, wake up at 5 a.m., go to class, go to work, go to bed, and practice whenever you have time. Like, practicing is here, eating is here. Honestly, that's how it is in music school. And sleeping is wherever you can do it, honestly. And homework, of course. So it's just weird because the thought of like joining a sports team again, it's just like, I'm gonna yawn again. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Anyway, the thought of like joining a sports team again, like, it makes me so happy to think about that. I want to do sports again. I miss being in sports. I miss doing sports. I loved sports so much. But my school doesn't have a gymnastics team. Every school has a gymnastics team. Mine doesn't. So can't do that. Not that I'd have time for it anyway. Cheerleading is too much time. Wouldn't fit with my classes. Plus, with my, like, state of my body and everything like that, and with having to stop gymnastics at 18 and everything like that, I think that I'm not what they're looking for because I'm not a currently practicing tumbler, and so kind of need to be to do cheer, you know? And with these wrists, I don't know if I would last after like more than 2 back handsprings on a panel mat on hardwood floor. So, not sure about that. And cheer was never really my thing anyway. It was just the closest thing to gymnastics at my school. So I was like, cheer? Probably not. We don't have an equestrian team, although there was a girl who was trying to start an equestrian team and we were talking for a while. And then I think she stopped because nobody else was interested, so I emailed her a little while ago, but it's summer, so she probably won't respond until like September, but that's fine. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Take a shot of water every time I yawn. Whew, my eyes always water when I yawn too. I need actual water. Exploding in the background. Water. Stress. Yeah. So, those are feelings that I have that stress me out. And so, continuing on. Oh, yes, there is more. Oh, is this disturbing the light? No, it's not. Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyway. More on the topic of YouTube. It stresses me out to talk about sometimes. Because sometimes, like, something that discourages me is seeing people whose channels blow up in, like, a month. And they're not even necessarily very dedicated. But then, like, I'm here and I'm in love with it, over the moon. Like, we're still in our honeymoon phase, in love with YouTube. And it's gonna be, in 11 days, it's gonna be 4 years since I made my channel, and I have 229 subscribers, and I still don't know what I'm doing. So that's another thing, is sometimes I feel like for how long I've been doing it, I should be farther, but then I'm like, I'm still not creating the content that I want to create, so how can I have a following if I'm not even happy with what I'm making, you know? So I'm like, oh, what if this next video goes viral? And then I'm just like, but I wouldn't be able to keep it up because I'm not sustaining my channel the way that I want to right now, you know? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And so it's like I talked about earlier, is like, some people go on YouTube and they're like, I want to do art videos, I want to do singing videos, I'm gonna do advice videos, I'm gonna do skits. And I just came on and I was like, I like all those. Those are fun. I like those. I'd never had like a specific type of video. Like I can't, like there are some YouTubers, like, so one that I think of when I think of like just putting out a bunch of content that really like is Purple Stars 02. She does like lip balm videos and stuff like that, and she just always has new videos coming out with like a similar theme, but they're always good. Like they're never filler, you know? And so I'm not one of those people who just has one YouTube niche that I know I'm gonna make videos about this and I can have like a million videos lined up just about this. Like if I could just crank them out and have myself like fully in each one, that would be amazing. And that's kind of like not necessarily what I want, because I don't necessarily have to have like a million videos always, like, but I would like to have some idea where I'm going, because if I don't know what kind of videos I want to make, then it feels very unstable, because I just have to kind of wait for an idea to hit me, you know? Like, and that's another thing too, like currently my videos that have a lot of views are based on the content of the video. It has nothing to do with me. So that's why I don't have a lot of subscribers, is because they appreciated the video for what it was. They didn't see me and decide that I'm someone that they want to come back to. So that's a thing. But I want that to change. And it's just like, another thing that I've been thinking of is I'm interesting inside my head, but I don't know how to get that out, you know? Because it's like, I love what goes on inside my head usually. Like, sometimes I wish that things that I said inside my head could be heard by others, because that's the kind of person that I want you to see, but I don't know how to get that out, you know? I don't know what kind of videos I could possibly make that would showcase the kind of person that I want you to see. And I don't know. I hope that makes sense. It felt like I said it correctly, which, if you know me, is a big deal, because I feel like I never say anything right. Like, anytime I think something and I want to talk about it, I have a tendency to ramble. I never know what words to use, and so we're doing good right now. But it's very frustrating when I know I want to make videos, but I don't know what to film, because I care so much about it that I sit down and just do something random, and sometimes I'm like, that's not good enough, you know? And before I started my channel, I would just film like random stuff on my iPod or my little camcorder, and I thought that I would never run out of video ideas because there was so much stuff that I love to do. But like, again, there comes the pressure, where I feel like I'm putting pressure on myself to make videos that are of the standard of the now YouTube crowd. Like, back when it was like Bethany Moda and Meredith Foster and like Ingrid and Dan and Phil and like all of that, like that's where I fit in, you know? That's where I fit in, you know? And so, but I know that there are a lot of other people who enjoy that kind of content as well. So like, it's another weird thing, is I don't buy into the current YouTube culture, yet for some reason when I feel like I'm not doing it, I almost feel like something is incorrect. Why is the light changing so much? Sorry about that. Hopefully it's still okay. But like, it almost feels like I'm doing something incorrect, like I'm not making good quality videos just because I don't have like that hipster music with a lot of noises in it, and like I'm not like doing this every 5 seconds. I don't have nose highlight on. Like, if you want to do that, okay, that's fine, but like I get the impression that a lot of people are only doing that because it's popular, not because that's actually them, you know? And maybe it is actually you, in which case it's fine, but it's just like, it's not me, so it's not fine for me, you know? And that's the thing too, I can do it. I can be whatever aesthetic anyone would want me to be, but is that fair to myself and other people who really know me? It's not, you know? And so you need to do what Ingrid says and give yourself your best chance. And I think that's what I need to like think about, is what do I need to do to give myself my best chance of achieving what I want to achieve. And it's like, there's so many things that I love to do, but when I think about YouTube, like all those other things are down here, and YouTube is just in front of me, waiting for me, you know? And singing is closely behind it, because I still love that. And it's like, another thing too is, being in college and stuff, it's kind of changed my opinion. Not changed my opinion, but just like given me some like new thoughts to think about regarding like jobs and stuff, because it's like, I almost feel like I can't just make random fun content and justify my job being on here, you know? Like, going to college for education and music, it's like going to college for something that is like such a big job. Then when I think about like, what if I were to do this instead, like I would almost feel useless, when that wasn't how I would feel before, because I recognize that this can be a really important job if you use it correctly. But now I feel like I have to be good at a bunch of other things in order to justify also doing this, you know? Which is weird. It's just weird. Well, with that being said, leave me video requests, please. Yeah. Alright, well, I guess I'm gonna go now. Thank you guys for listening to me, as always. I love you to the moon and back, and I will see you later. Bye.